Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, if you run a service business, maybe it's a small studio or you're a consultant, maybe even a grooming service, you definitely know that fundamental struggle. Growing. It's not just getting that first customer, is it? It's turning that single transaction into something reliable, loyalty. And then you hope referrals start coming in on their own.
Yeah, building that self-sustaining engine. But it's tough, that inability to really scale those relationships without just grinding constantly.
Yeah.
That's the big hurdle for pretty much any service provider today.
Absolutely. And why does that loyalty often just fizzle out?
Well, it's usually not because people don't want to, right?
Yeah.
It's the sheer administrative load,
Yeah.
the burden. Service providers are almost always brilliant at what they do.
Right, the actual service delivery.
Exactly. But when they're done, those really crucial next steps, that personalized thank you, the reminder to rebook at the right time, just nurturing that relationship.
And just fall by the wayside.
They do. Because the owner or the provider is already juggling the next client, the next fire.
All right, so that's exactly what we want to tackle today. We want to shortcut that whole process. We did a deep dive into this really detailed consultation blueprint. It was designed for a small, high-touch service business. The example was a grooming studio.
Right.
But it uses a few pretty accessible AI and automation tools to fix 5 key growth bottlenecks, the kind that really stop service businesses cold.
And the principles apply broadly. If you're a personal trainer, running a yoga studio, any service with repeat visits, this framework is for you.
So what are we tackling, these 5 pain points?
Yeah, we're looking at those inconsistent follow-ups, having no formal referral incentives, like nothing structured, then disorganized client data all over the place, missed upselling opportunities, and just that general feeling of overwhelming manual admin.
And the solution involves layering in tech.
Exactly. Strategic tech, we're talking about getting some quick wins, but also setting up for more strategic improvements down the line. Using 3 main tools: Notion for the data hub, make.com to connect everything, and OpenAI for the smarts, the personalization.
Okay, let's unpack this. Start at the top. Focus 1, automating retention. You called it the memory problem. So relying on paper or just trying to remember stuff, what's the very first immediate step away from that?
Okay, step 1 is honestly non-negotiable. You have to ditch the paper, switch to a digital booking tool.
Oh, way.
Think Square Appointments, Gloss Genius, even Calendly if you hook it up to Stripe for payments, something digital. This is the absolute foundation because it captures the basic event data: who came, when they came, what service they got, digitally.
Right, so no more sticky notes or trying to decipher handwriting from 6 months ago.
Precisely. And once that data is digital, then you can bring in the power of make.com.
Okay, make.com. Is that just like Zapier, an automation tool?
It is, yeah. Think of it like the digital nervous system connecting apps that don't normally talk to each other. It lets you build what we call the automation loop.
So make.com is the bridge here. It lets the booking tool talk to, say, your email system.
Exactly. The workflow is pretty simple, but really effective. Appointment finished. That sends a signal to make.com. Make.com waits maybe 5 weeks. You decide based on your service cycle.
Okay.
And then it automatically sends an email or an SMS. It actively prompts the client to rebook. You're not just hoping they remember you in a couple of months.
Okay, but this is where I always get a bit worried. We all get those generic, hey, time to rebook emails, right? They just feel like spam.
Totally.
So if this is going to work, it needs to feel different. It needs to get like really interesting. How does AI make this not feel like spam?
Right. This is the cool part. You weave OpenAI into that make.com workflow. So instead of that generic message, the automation first looks up the client in your central database. We'll talk about setting that up in Notion shortly.
Okay.
OpenAI pulls out specific details from their record, maybe their last service or a product they asked about, or even, their dog's name if it's a groomer. Let's say the dog's name is Max. The AI uses those details to generate personalized content. Something like, hey, it's been about 5 weeks since Max had his summer trim. We noticed you picked up the oatmeal shampoo last time. Just want to let you know we got a new sensitive skin conditioning spray. That might be great if Max is still dealing with those little allergies.
Whoa, hang on. The AI is actually pulling the pet's name and the specific shampoo they bought from the database and writing the email draft. How hard is that to actually set up?
It sounds complex, but once you have the data structured properly in Notion, the actual make.com and OpenAI integration is surprisingly straightforward. The work is mostly upfront, getting that data organized.
Okay.
But the result, it's a message that feels, handcrafted,
Yeah,
personal. And that detail, it completely changes the game. It's not an annoying robot message anymore. It's a genuinely helpful, personalized suggestion. The open rates, the click-through rates,
Right.
they go way up.
That makes a ton of sense. Okay, so retention is getting automated, but we also need new clients. Let's talk focus 2, driving referrals. The pain point here is pretty clear. Even your happiest clients, they just don't refer people often unless you give them a little push, right? An incentive?
Yeah, just telling people, hey, refer your friends isn't a system. You need a process you can actually measure. The blueprint was really clear on this. You need a trackable system.
Trackable how?
It can be pretty simple to start, even just within that Notion database we mentioned. Give every client their own unique referral code or link.
Ah, okay, so you can actually see who referred who.
Yep.
Accountability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after a service is done, that make.com automation kicks in again. It can send out 2 things now, that personalized rebooking reminder we just talked about,
Right.
and their unique referral link with a really clear incentive. The blueprint suggested something dual-sided, which works well, like $10 off for you, $10 off for your friend.
Yeah, it makes the client feel like they're actually part of your marketing, actively helping out.
For sure. And they get rewarded for it immediately.
Now, you mentioned something about taking this beyond just a basic link, some advanced tracking, using another tool.
Yeah, this is where it gets a bit more sophisticated but really powerful. This involves a tool called Apify.
Apify. Okay, what's that?
For a small business owner, it might sound intimidating, but think of Apify as like an automated digital bloodhound. It's a web scraping tool, basically. You can set it up to monitor social media like Instagram or Facebook for specific mentions or tags of your business.
So if a client posts a picture after their appointment and tags the studio,
Apify spots it, finds that tag.
and then what?
That finding triggers another make.com automation. Maybe it sends an instant personalized thank you message to that client via DM or email. Hey, thanks so much for the shout out. And maybe it includes a bonus referral code as a little surprise reward.
Okay, that's slick. And does that actually move the needle?
The impact is pretty significant, according to the consultation report. Businesses doing this saw like a 20, even 30% measurable increase in new clients, just from closing that loop immediately and rewarding people who are already advocating for you online.
Wow. So you go from just hoping clients refer to actively finding them when they do and rewarding them instantly.
Exactly. It makes it measurable and systematic.
Okay, so we've automated getting customers back in the door and we've automated incentivizing new ones. But all this activity, it creates a lot of data, right? Preferences, visit history, who referred whom. If that info is scattered everywhere, the system breaks down.
Absolutely. Which leads us perfectly into focus 3, organizing all that client intelligence. The problem is usually siloed information. You know, the groomer remembers the dog hates the blow dryer, but the person booking the next appointment doesn't know that.
Right, lost details.
The solution proposed is creating a client intelligence hub, and a tool for that is Notion.
Notion again. So explain Notion for someone who hasn't used it. It's not just notes, right?
No, not at all. Think of it like a super flexible digital workspace. It can be databases, notes, documents, project management, task lists, all connected, all in one place. It's incredibly customizable.
So it becomes the one single source of truth for everything about that client.
That's the goal. You centralize everything there. Grooming notes, service history, products they bought, specific needs, allergies, preferences, even those little personal details like birthdays or the pet's anniversary.
Okay, and then AI comes back in, but this time helping the staff.
Right, like the ultimate personalized cheat sheet for your team. You can train an OpenAI chatbot connected to your Notion database to quickly pull up or summarize key client info right before their appointment.
So instead of frantically flipping through old notes.
Exactly. The staff member just glances at their tablet or computer and sees a clean summary. Okay, next up is Max, owner Sarah, last visit. Deep conditioning. Sarah asked about the new brush. Reminder, Max prefers peanut butter treats, sensitive to loud noises.
That level of prep. It must cut down on mistakes, speed things up, and honestly, make the client feel really seen and remembered.
Absolutely. And all that centralized data then feeds back into your automated loyalty efforts.
How so?
Well, Make.com can watch that Notion database for dates. It can automatically trigger those highly specific birthday emails, or maybe a happy gotcha day, a promotion for the pet's anniversary.
Using those little details for marketing moments.
Yeah, moments that feel incredibly personal but are fully automated. It cuts errors way down and seriously boosts that feeling of personalization.
Okay, this is flowing nicely. Let's move to focus 4. This one hits home for a lot of people, those missed opportunities for upselling. You're busy during the appointment, you're focused on the service, and you just forget to mention that new product or that service add-on.
Yeah, the distraction factor. You're leaving money on the table because you're focused rightly on the core service.
So how does AI help here? Is it reminding the staff again?
It can, but it can also be more direct. Here, AI shifts from being purely admin support to actually helping generate revenue. You use OpenAI, connected to that rich history in Notion, to proactively recommend relevant products or services based specifically on that client's past usage and recorded needs. If Notion shows a history of, say, treatments for dry skin.
The AI suggests the fancy moisturizing shampoo bundle.
Exactly. The high-margin one. Or maybe a relevant add-on service for their next visit.
And you automate the suggestion itself.
You automate the nudge, yeah. Both before and after the visit. Make.com can trigger pre-visit emails. Hey, getting ready for Max's appointment. Just a reminder, you might be running low on that conditioner he likes. Gentle prompt.
Checks their inventory at home. Smart.
And then post-visit emails can recap what was used during the service, maybe mention a product the groomer recommended, and include a direct link to buy it online or add it to their next booking.
And does nudging like that actually work for product sales?
The sources we looked at indicated that just automating these kinds of strategic, relevant nudges could lift product sales by something like 15%, which is significant.
15% just from connecting inventory and client history. Wow. Okay. There was also a mention of a low-tech physical tracking idea.
Yeah, the consultant was smart about not making everything purely digital. Keep some physical elements, but make them trackable. Simple QR codes right there at the front desk, or limited time offers maybe, or bundled services. Scan here for 10% off this brush if you buy it today.
Ah, okay. Impulse buy potential.
Exactly. But the crucial part is those QR codes aren't just sitting there. They're linked. They can be tracked using Appify again, or even just basic Google Analytics UTM codes. So you get actual data on which physical offers are converting people right there in the moment. No more guessing.
Okay, so all four of these solutions, the follow-ups, the referrals, the client hub, the upselling, they all feed into solving the big one. Focus 5, manual admin overwhelm.
Right. The ultimate goal, getting time back.
Cutting down all that time spent texting clients, emailing back and forth, confirming appointments, chasing down details, just freeing up the owner or the manager to actually work on the business, not just in it. Or, just breathe.
Exactly. And a lot of this is handled by integrating that digital booking software tightly with Make.com. That takes care of almost all the routine confirmations, reminders, post-visit follow-ups. Systematically, without anyone manually touching a calendar or sending an SMS.
The blueprint mentioned this idea of a mission control. What did that mean?
Mission control is basically using that Notion dashboard as the single command center. It pulls everything together. It's where you see flagged tasks, all the upcoming appointments pulled from the booking tool, any open feedback items that need attention.
So you don't need to check 5 different apps every morning.
Precisely. Data from all the other tools flows into Notion, giving you one clear overview.
And feedback is part of that too. How does that get automated?
You can easily automate sending out a quick feedback request, maybe a simple one-question survey 24 hours after the appointment via Make.com.
Okay.
And then, instead of the owner having to manually read through dozens of comments each week, use OpenAI again. It can read all the submitted feedback and summarize the key themes right onto that Notion dashboard.
So it synthesizes it, like...
It's like, okay, this week, 80% satisfaction overall, but 3 separate comments mentioned parking was difficult. Boom. Immediate, actionable intelligence without drowning in raw data.
That's powerful. And the potential time savings from all this?
The industry research cited in the sources was pretty striking. It suggested that this kind of end-to-end process automation, connecting all these pieces, can cut the manual administrative burden by up to 40%.
40%. Okay, let that sink in.
Yeah.
If you spend, say, a full day just on admin tasks each week, that's nearly half a day back every single week. That's huge.
It's transformative for a small operation.
It really is. But I have to ask the elephant in the room question here. This sounds amazing, truly. But we're talking about integrating, 4 or 5 different platforms? Notion, Make.com, OpenAI, Appify, the booking tool. Doesn't setting all that up create its own massive administrative headache, especially for a small business owner who's already feeling swamped?
That is a completely fair challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sounds like a ton of upfront work. It would be, frankly, if you tried to boil the ocean and do it all in one weekend.
Right.
The consultant was really clear about this. They acknowledged that feeling. This is a scalable blueprint. It's not a quick fix project.
Yeah.
The key is how you implement it. You don't jump straight into the deep end, you stage it. You aim for early wins that save you time and maybe generate a little cash, which then funds the next, slightly more complex stage.
Okay, staging it. That makes sense. Let's
Yeah.
walk through that. What's the practical checklist for someone listening right now? What are the immediate wins, things they could realistically do, say, this week?
Okay, immediate wins. We're talking tasks that take maybe less than 5 hours total setup, but give you an immediate time-saving payoff. So, this week. Number 1, switch to that digital booking tool if you haven't already. Number 2, import your basic client list, names, emails, phone numbers into a simple Notion database. Number 3, set up the most basic automated appointment reminders using make.com connected to your booking tool.
Just those 3.
Just those 3. That alone probably gets you like 80% of the way towards serious admin reduction right there.
Okay, that feels much more manageable than what? What's the short-term plan, maybe things to tackle over the next month once you've got those basics humming?
Short term, building on that foundation. First, launch that simple referral program. Even if you track the codes manually in a spreadsheet to start, just get the incentive out there. Second, and this is crucial, start diligently logging those detailed client notes, preferences, history, what they bought into that structured Notion database you created. That's the fuel for the AI stuff later.
Got it. Build the data habit. And then the longer-term strategy, say over the next 3 to 6 months, this is where the more advanced tools come in.
That's right. This is where you layer on the real intelligence. You integrate OpenAI to do that deep personalization for your emails and SMS messages, pulling from the history you've been logging in Notion. This is also where you might bring in Epify for the advanced social media listening or for tracking those QR code offers, turning anecdotes into real data.
So by the time you get to the more complex tools like Epify, the time and potentially money saved from phase 1 and 2 should help justify the cost and the learning curve.
That's the idea. The savings should ideally fund the expansion.
That staged approach really reframes it. The tech stack Notion for the brain, make.com for the nerves, OpenAI for the intelligence. It feels less like this daunting monolithic project and more like a phased strategic investment in the business. And the outcome isn't just efficiency, is it? It feels like it's fundamentally changing the relationship, turning what could be just automated transactions into something that feels genuinely personal, building loyalty systematically.
Yeah, it's automating that entire path to loyalty. And what's really fascinating, I think, is that while those immediate wins less admin hassle, the automated reminders, they provide instant relief, which is great. The real kind of exponential power comes later. It comes from actually using the data you start collecting, analyzing the patterns and the feedback summaries from OpenAI, seeing which referral incentives actually work based on the Notion tracking.
So you stop guessing.
You stop guessing. You can make truly strategic decisions about improving services, developing new offerings, targeting your marketing with real precision. It moves the business away from just reacting and scheduling towards proactively shaping its own growth.
From reactive scheduling to proactive, sophisticated growth. That is a really powerful takeaway. Okay, so for you, listening right now, as you go about your day, maybe think about this. Which one of your own daily admin tasks, you know, the one you dread, the one that just eats your time, could you potentially automate using just one of these first simple steps?
Just start there.
Start there. See how quickly maybe getting even 10 or 20% of that 40% time saving starts.